Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
Hi! Oh, I shouldn't be back here. Can I have a bottle of water, David?
Bottle of water?
Please!
Sure.
I'm already thirsty.
You're already thirsty.
Hi there. I'm John, Game Master. Ah! Ah!
John?
Bouncing Betty. Bouncing bottle of water, yeah.
You okay?
Asia.
I know you're not used to being in the hot seat.
Not for a couple years now, but anyways.
No. This should be fun.
So, I printed out the new, our character sheets. We're trying to beta test Children of the Gods. We've been working on it for over 2 years now. And
Shh, don't tell them that.
old man Leonard decided to put a timeline on this thing, which is, you know, something we really needed.
Sure
I
did.
probably made
Yeah.
more progress in the last 2 months than I have in 2 years. So,
Doesn't it?
all right.
Well, you said that when we ran it with the Saturday group.
Yeah. Well,
You and them have made a lot of changes since then.
we very likely did. Okay. So,
Yes.
for our Children of the Gods game, the premise of it is that we're using 5th edition rules of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm trying to...
I put our logo up.
Fantastic.
Good thing you didn't change it, because I would have been like, hey.
I don't change nothing. I'm getting that. I don't change nothing. For our character sheet, as you can see, it's pretty much very identical to...
You're not going to be able to see that in that detail.
Okay, fine.
It's fine.
It-
you can
Take
describe
our
it.
word for it.
Go ahead.
It's very similar to the standard Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character sheet. We did switch out religion with culture and arcana with technology. Because in our game, there's no magic. There's no psionics. There's no mysticism. It's just
Not
all
even really
technology.
divine power, but
Not divine, but yeah.
No.
I mean, depending on how you want to call it, because it is called Children of the Gods.
yes.
Oh, but that's an acronym.
Exactly. So in our world, set in, did we decide the year like
I think we said
2120 or something like that?
2100 or something.
100 years from now.
100.
That way we don't get like the same issue that like Shadowrun had, where okay, we're actually getting into closer to the time where they had their
Things were supposed to
time
happen,
setting,
they
and
didn't
it's like
happen,
things
yeah.
did not happen like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like with Star Trek, you know, with the notion of the eugenics wars
Yeah, that's
happening in the
happening.
90s. It's like that never happened.
No, it did not.
No.
That would have been entertaining.
Wouldn't have been though. I think there was a novelization that came out that retconned that eugenics wars was really like a secret war that we never knew about.
Yeah, it
The
happened, but
government
nobody
hushed
ever
up.
heard of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Exactly. So, otherwise,
Careful.
that's a part of the problem with having a TARDIS table. So, we have our races. We have Bionics, Blight, Botanics, Brutes, Terrans, and Titans. Now, our world, nanobots are essentially the magic of the world. They end up changing everything. Basically, kind of like in Metal Gear Solid. Nano machines. You change everything. Yeah. And so the Terrans are your basic human. They're your vanilla human, very basic, easy introduction.
So why would you want to be one?
Because they also don't have many drawbacks.
Wink, nod, nod. Say no more.
Yeah. So, for instance, what race would somebody be interested in?
What's
I know
the-
nothing about them.
What's the vegetarian?
So maybe you should fill us in on each one.
Okay.
The plant run?
I'll just go in alphabetical order because that's the way I printed them out.
Well, all right.
Bionics, Learning Man, Homo descendants. Essentially, Bionics are individuals that have been modified by mechabots. They're cyborgs. They're not quite like drone-like like the Borg, but they definitely have cybernetic parts to them. You can customize which traits you are featured with, 2 optional traits. They have +2 intelligence and +1 something else that you choose. They can live up to 150 years because, let's face it, they don't have as many organs to fail as normal humans do. They vary between 5 and 6 feet. Walking speed 30 feet, as for most of all of these. They have a feature of no stomach for it. You only need half of your normal rationing of food and water, but this is replaced by an equal amount of metal to be reabsorbed. They also have biological resistance, so they have advantage on saving throws against poison and disease, and they resist poison and disease because there's less of their body to be poisoned or diseased. However, they do have shocked, which David came up with. When bionics take electrical damage, they have to make a constitution saving throw of a DC of 10 or half of the electrical damage, whatever one is higher. If they fail, they are stunned until the end of the start of their next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Basically, everything's like the shock. They just get, taser tap damage. Yeah.
How long are they stunned?
Until the start of their next turn.
So when they're down on the ground, anyone can attack them?
So they don't lose an action at all.
Well, they lose their reaction. Maybe it should be at the end of their next turn?
Well, I told him for 1 round.
End of next turn would make
End
sense.
And then
Okay.
next turn.
End of next turn, that'd be a round.
End of next turn.
Well, 1 round would be the beginning of
And
the person who's stunned.
another next turn. There we go. See, I read this other stuff out to you. You didn't correct me then. Okay. Also, fantastic. Also, speak with electronics. They can interface with electronic devices by touching them using their mechabots. They get English plus 1 extra language. For their optional traits, you can choose 2. Either a metal detector, pinpoint precious metals and stones within 60 feet. Infrasound sensors. They can detect and pinpoint vibrations up to 60 feet. They're in contact with the ground or substance that is making that vibration. But so of course it doesn't work with things that are flying because it's not touching anything. Infrared sensors gives basically dark vision in dim or dark light, or dark light, in darkness. They only see in black and green shades of green, as you normally do with infrared vision. Though it may be interfered with by obstructions like pane of glass.
Yes.
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 Yes. So realistic drawbacks to it.
Uh-huh.
Echolocation is an option where you perceive your surroundings through hearing as well as sight within 60 feet. Chrome plating. Your skin is covered in metal. It gives you an AC of 13 plus your dexterity modifier, but it is not compatible with other armors. So if you wear something that's less powerful or more powerful, it's whichever one's higher. You can still use a shield. Parrot. You can mimic the sounds that you've heard, including voices.
Hello, John.
That's Mr. Hubbard. Okay.
Question on that. Is it only the direct sounds, or can you imitate a voice with words you don't heard?
You can mimic sounds you have heard, including voices.
Okay.
Probability calculator. When you roll a 1 on an attack, roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can re-roll the die and must take the new roll. Also known as half-inch luck. Again, I'm not original. Titan toughness. Your hit point maximum increases by 1, and
Why'd
your
you call it Titan Toughness?
titanium toughness.
Titanium Toughness.
Yes. See, the word Titan was in there. I just skipped over the M.
Vanadium?
M. I actually did say titanium. So
Vanadium.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mispronounced. Okay. Anyway.
Just cross it out.
Okay.
Say fix.
Machine lore. You have intelligence. You make an intelligence history check related to electronics or machinery. You're considered proficient in the history skill and double your proficiency bonus instead of taking normal proficiency bonus. Oxygen tank.
Is that a trait?
That was one of the optional traits, yes.
Okay.
Oxygen tank. You basically have an extra hour of air to breathe. You can hold your breath. Improved memory. You can accurately recall anything you've heard or seen within the last month. Quick learner. The time and currency it takes to learn a new language, tool, or skill proficiency is reduced by half. And buddy. Instead, your size changes to small, either 2 to 4 feet, and you're proficient in picking locks, both mechanical and electronic.
Okay.
Now, one suggestion they was thinking of, which might end up adding an unnecessary complication, was that there was a new race introduced in
Acquisition Incorporated book called the Verdan, and their Goblinoid spin-off race that starts out as small, but by 5th level becomes medium.
Okay. Still need to get that book.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
So my thought on that, because it happens at 5th level, was that if we were introducing that in one of the Biobot or any of the Nanobot using races, that if they were to initially take the smaller variant of that race, that by the time they get to 5th level, they have grown, like their nanobots inside them have literally made them grow to the point that they can then remove that feature and then maybe add on 2 new traits that they would not have taken otherwise previously. That way it gives them an extra benefit. Okay, I restricted myself from taking it before, now I want to take them. Or now there are benefits that, we turns out we could really use those things.
Okay.
So what do you think of that as a notion of...
It's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
I'd have to pour through it to see about balance, but
We figured it's already established in the Acquisition Incorporated Verdan, the kind of thing you could.
Well, it's the notion of them going from small to medium.
Yeah.
Is there any other change to them besides their size?
No.
Okay.
Obviously that'll change his other stats, but
So, okay. The Blight. Homo Camatius. Contaminated man. Essentially, the Blight are individuals...
the book is below you. Go on, man. Double check. Okay.
The Blight basically looks like a regular human, looks like a Terran. But they have been infected with decay bots. And decay bots are a terrible plague that wiped out 9/10 of humanity. I know, it's kind of buried the lead there. And it wasn't until near the very end of them trying to cure the disease, which is why many of these people have these nanobots, that they finally figured out how to reprogram the decay bots to not kill the person that they're in. So, these individuals are ones that, for whatever reason the case may be, they chose to leave the decay bots in them, and this causes sometimes anxiety between them and lots of other races, because they still have the plague that's inside them that killed off most of humanity, and most people would want that eradicated. Why would you keep that around with you, let alone inside you? B, what kind of situation were you in that you wanted to keep them inside you? Were you extremely poor, or just plain weak, or like you couldn't withstand the weather procedures, or whatever it may be?
So one thing they do suggest here is that when a Verdan character gains an ability score improvement at certain levels, that increase can be tied to a physical mutation. A boost in strength might be accompanied by a growth spurt. Development of rippling muscle, while an increase in intelligence might produce a stylishly large forehead.
Okay.
Oh, bigger target. You're losing headshots.
But you become the aliens like from the cage.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, they also have the spell in their Jim's Magic Missile, which John has been using quite a lot.
I have been.
Yes. Jim's Magic Missile does, you roll for ranged spell attack. And if you hit, you do 2d4 damage. If you crit, you do 5d4 damage. And if at any time you roll a 1, all the darts hit you for 1 damage.
Yes.
nice.
So if you have a really good attack score for your spells, attacks, why wouldn't you do that? Yeah. Anyways, the other added benefit of being a Blight is that you can change your appearance to essentially anybody who had died due to the decay bots. The G.O.D.S network, which is a satellite of a series of satellites, were able to help humanity to at least try to delay the process of everybody getting wiped out by these decay bots by adding in like an extra set of algorithms in it to basically scan everybody's bodies and their minds in order to make a digital version of them. It's a digital backup, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so
And there are multiple possibilities as to how that decay bot plague even spread or started in the first place. We want to kind of leave it up to the individual GMs to determine which one works in their world.
whether or not, it was the G.O.D.S network that decided we're going to protect humanity. In order to do that, we have to kill humanity. In order to,
One Skynet possibility, yes.
Yeah. Or maybe it was a terrorist attack, and it went terribly wrong. Instead of just attacking just one people, or one city, or one target, it just went worldwide. Or maybe it was somebody who forgot to carry a 1, carry a 0.
If it was a mistake, it was intentional. It was multiple groups could have been responsible.
Yes. So, and also,
Since we're like 50 years removed from the initial plague spread.
yeah. They're also mistrusted because they're essentially have the ability to wear a dead person's face. They made themselves look like anybody who had died previously from the K-bot plague per se. And they are also infertile because basically the K-bots they can change them up every which way. You can be male or female. But because of this drastic changes that happen to your body so regularly, pretty much. It just you can't have kids. They have a dexterity of +2 and +1 something else. They usually are chaotic in nature, otherwise neutral. Chaotic neutral. Addled is the drawback you can put up with them. When the Blight takes psychic damage, they must make a charisma saving throw of 10 or half of the. Okay. I put Sonic instead of Psychic here.
Spell.
How often is psychic damage in the game?
Essentially, I know we had a Bard be able to do a lot of psychic damage.
Okay.
Or not the Bard, sorry. The Influencer. I forgot why I named things. Yeah. But in any case, though, half of the psychic damage, whichever is higher. If they fail for one round, they revert to their normal form, or they change to their appearance randomly. So they're in combat, and not everybody necessarily knows that they are a Blight. And they suddenly get hit, and they change their face. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, that ain't right. You're not who you said you were.
Okay.
Do I know you? Is another feature that they have suggested. When entering a new populated area, you roll a percentile on your first visit. If you roll 1, your appearance has been recognized by one of the inhabitants as someone that deceased that they knew. Grandpa! How could you be? That's
It
impossible.
could lead to a lot of interesting story ideas,
Yeah.
especially if you're back from the dead or you're gone for a really long time.
Unless they don't use that trait.
Unless they visually saw them die, in which case, why are you wearing my grandfather's face?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if it makes sense to change that to a higher percentage based on a larger population area.
That could be true, yeah. Oh, it just seemed like it was.
But you're not going to see so many people at one time. You may never see them.
Right.
Well, this was just sort of simplify things for, I guess, the game master of.
Right.
Okay, what's the population of the city? How do you calculate that? How would that affect the
size?
Oh yeah, that's true. There's
The village is 1%, maybe a town 10%.
I wouldn't even go above 10%. Does that mean if you have a 1 in 10 chance of grabbing someone? I mean,
Right.
With size, Blight can vary from 5 to 6 feet, regardless of their size is medium. The K-bot plague do not discriminate by age. The accessible genetics, though, would be from no one younger than 20 years old. So somebody who was 20 years old, who looked like a kid,
Uh-huh.
there's plenty of those around. Change in appearance. This is obviously their big honking paragraph here for them for that. As an action, you can transform your appearance or revert to your natural form. You decide what you look like, including your height, plus or minus 6 inches, your weight, plus or minus 100 pounds, facial features, the sound of your voice, coloration, hair length, sex, and other physical qualities that would be genetically traceable. So, for instance, this would exclude a scar the original person may have developed from an injury, or artificially colored hair or makeup. Your colors or other equipment do not change your appearance, size, or shape to match your new form, requiring you to keep an extra outfits on hand to make the most compelling disguise possible. Even to the most astute observers, your ruse is usually indiscernible. If you rouse suspicion, or if a wary creature suspects something is amiss, you have advantage on your charisma deception checks to avoid detection. Your appearance is limited to those who had died during the plague, which were in the billions, so simulating someone you have seen and heard is possible, but not perfect. Also due to their genetic fluid nature, blight or infertile. You know English and 2 extra languages.
So how do they propagate?
They don't really.
So this group will just die off after so long?
Well, the K-bot plague does still exist, so if Terrans were to be infected, which of course Terrans, they should still repopulate. If they were to be infected and they were to take on the blight method of cure,
Yeah.
then they would be a new blight. Yeah. Botanics. Essentially, they're ones that took on ecobots or plant-based or plant yes style nanobots into them. They have +2 wisdom and +1 something else. They can live up to 200 years potentially, thanks to the regenerative nature of the ecobots. They're usually good, neutral good. Again, 5 to 6 feet tall, base speed 30 feet. Hit point, their botanic toughness. I went botanic toughness that time. Your hit point maximum increases by 1, and you increase it by 1 every time you gain a level. Photosynthesis. If you take at least 4 hours of direct sunlight during the day, you don't need to sleep during the night. Otherwise, you will need to rest the normal 8 hours. Also, if you spend 4 hours standing rooted in nutrient-rich soil for a 24-hour period, you do not need to consume food. Otherwise, you do need to eat as normal. And the best word we can come up with this is tinder. When botanics take fire damage, they must make a dexterity saving throw of DC 10 or half the damage taken, whichever is higher. If they fail, they must use their reaction to fall prone. At the start of the next turn, they must use their action to then put themselves out before anything else.
That's 2 actions.
Well, they
Well,
get
the
injured,
reaction.
they fail to
Falling
save,
is a
they drop
reaction.
prone.
Right. So it's not an action to drop prone.
No.
It's a reaction. They use a reaction drop prone.
What if they don't have a reaction?
Well, when they start their next turn, they would reset all the what their actions are.
Just thinking on that.
Yeah.
When you get into action economy, you got to be careful.
Yes. And speak with plants. With volatile chemicals and coloration, they can send simple ideas to ecobot-affected creatures. They know English and 1 extra language. There are 2 optional traits. Tremor sense, like the other one with the vibrations in the ground. They can detect vibrations in the ground. Bark skin. Again, they have thick skin around their thick bark on their skin, and so it gives them an AC of 13 plus their dexterity saving modifier. Still use shields. Thorn skin, which is not exclusive to bark skin. As a bonus action, you can make a strength-based melee attack with your thorny skin. You can hit and deal 1d4 plus your strength modifier in damage and piercing damage.
Are you proficient in it?
I suppose it would be, instead of a weapon attack, would be like an unarmed attack. Because everybody would be proficient in unarmed, right?
I just
Or no?
include that, include your proficiency bonus.
Okay. Okay. Pacified spores, borrowed from myconids. You eject spores at one creature you can see within 5 feet. The target must succeed a DC 11 Constitution saving throw or be stunned for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect as it succeeds. This can be used 3 times a day. Animating spore. Once per day, you can target one corpse of a beast with a challenge rating of 1/2 or lower within 5 feet and release the spores at the corpse. After 1 hour, the corpse rises as a spore pet. Its type becomes plant and is loyal to you. It loses all of its normal senses but gains a tremor sense. The corpse stays animated for 1d4 plus 1 weeks or until destroyed, and it can't be animated again in this way. You only have 1 beast at this time.
So can it be a distraction, diversion, fight for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So what about vision? Anything, dark vision or anything?
They have tremor sense, but no dark vision.
Ah,
Blue raspberry. Essentially, it works the same as the good berry spell. You use once per day. Up to 10 berries appear in your hand or infused with.
These aren't all available. These are
No.
choose traits.
ah,
Yeah.
I just saw you writing them down, so I figured.
yeah.
You intense with vitamins,
Your name's
minerals, and
Kale?
antioxidants.
Yeah. I have to think of it.
Takes an action to eat 1 berry. After eating 1 berry, you restore 1 hit point. Berries lose their potency after 24 hours.
There's a kid at our church who's named Kale, and they're like, I don't know why your parents would name you after.
He's a good kid.
He is a good kid.
He's a good kid. We had our grandfather was mentioned in the announcements at one point for medical reasons, and I had a birthday party like a couple weeks afterwards, and I said, okay, well, it's not so much for me to have a party for myself, it's more about entertaining children. And so I invited like 3 or 4 families over, and Kale was the one asked to give a prayer before we started eating, and he included our grandfather in the prayer. And he's like, what, 6 or 7?
Yeah, very young.
And it's like, good on him for keeping that as memory and then wanting to talk about it, you know. So proud of the
His
kid.
parents treat him right.
Yes.
I disagree with the name, but his parents treat him right.
Okay. Yeah.
So how many berries can you make at one time?
10 berries.
10 berries, okay.
All right. Plant lore. Same as the other one with machine lore. You do an intelligence nature check related to a plant or herbal remedies that you're proficient. You're considered proficient in nature skill, and add your double your proficiency bonus instead of normal proficiency bonus. Tree truncated. When a creature you can see attacks a target that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll.
Okay.
Vine-limbed. You can make a melee attack on your turn. You can reach. Your reach for it is 5 feet greater than normal. Stretch your arms. And shrubbery. The small variant. You have advantage on dexterity stealth checks when hiding in vegetation.
They want a shrubbery.
Brutes.
Uh-huh.
Homo neophilis, novelty-loving man. Brutes are essentially individuals who decide to take biobots into their body, but biobots are modified with animal DNA. So not necessarily for furries, but
Mammals. Just mammals.
Mammals, very mammals. That's true. But you have mostly human features. It's just a couple of animal qualities, sprinkled in.
Okay.
Yeah, Constitution +2,
Okay.
and +1 something else. Your hybrid human beast tend to live up into their 50s, as most mammals do have shorter lifespans than humans.
I'm a mob. I'm my own best friend.
Half human, half dog. Yes. They're usually chaotic, but good. See, they range 4 to 7 feet relative to the proportion of the size of the animal that they took the DNA from. Regardless, they're still they're still medium size. Base speed 30 feet. Enhanced healing. If you are below half your hit points maximum at the start of your turn, you regain 1 hit point. If you drop to 0 hit points, you instead have advantage on your death saves. And rattled. Basically the idea of a dog listening to fireworks. When brutes take sonic damage, they must make a wisdom saving throw, DC at 10, or half the sonic damage taken, whichever is higher. If they fail, they are frightened until the start of their next turn. Or actually probably until the end of the next turn.
End of the next turn. Always change those starts to end.
There we go. Speak with beasts. Through gestures, postures, and sounds, you can communicate simple ideas to beasts. This trait does not gives you no special ability to understand them in return. And they speak English. Their optional traits, they include Adept Climber. They have a proficiency in either athletics or acrobatics, and they have a walking speed equal to they have a climbing speed equal to their walking speed. Brute Resilience, they have advantage against its poison and resistance to poison's damage. Pack Tactics, you have advantage on attack rolls against a creature that has at least one of your allies within 5 feet of it. Burrowing Speed, if you have 2 free hands and loose soil, loose earth, you can burrow at a speed of 25 feet. Keen Sense, you have a proficiency in perception, and choose one sense that you have advantage on perception rolls. Long Strider, your base speed goes up to 40 feet. Tough Hide, again, you have really tough skin, so your AC is 13 plus your dexterity modifiers, so you use shields. Natural Weapon, you have a natural weapon of you're proficient in. This could be a bite, claw, or other bestial feature. You choose to add your strength or dexterity to the attack roll, and add your 1d4 plus strength or dexterity modifier to the damage. The damage type is either bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. Depending on the type of the animal you took.
Swimming stuff.
Owlbear.
And we didn't add anything
Maxed
for water.
bats and swimming. So you should have an echolocation. You should have a glide. You got squirrels and bats that can do that.
So do you actually get the names?
Well, that's the thing. I looked up, I looked up quite a while ago the types of, like what proportion you would have to have realistically to have a human size,
Glider.
bat wings, and they just be ridiculously enormous. And also, what your skeletal structure would have to do to it too,
But you could glide.
Glide, we could certainly add that. Yeah.
Yeah. So a flying squirrel too.
Yeah. Nocturnal, they have dark vision, see in shades of gray. Powerful build, they count as one size larger when calculating carrying capacity, push, drag, or lift. Feline flexibility. You can squeeze through into tight spaces meant for a smaller creature than you without issue.
How small?
A size smaller.
Okay.
And mousy. Again, small size. Along with the smaller size, when you damage a creature with an attack, the creature's size is larger than yours. You can cause the extra attack You can cause the attack to deal extra damage to the creature is equal to your level, and you can use this trait once per short or long rest.
Okay.
Essentially, the Goblin's Fury sort of thing. Yeah. Terrans, again, they're basically the vanilla race. +1 all their ability scores. The lesser than Century. They're have it be any alignment, 5 to 6 feet tall. Walking speed 30 feet. They are proficient in either smith, mason, or tanner tools, and they speak English and one extra language. Of course, you still have the variant feature of either +1 to 2 different ability scores, a skill that you're proficient in, and a feat. and I have not yet listed off feats yet.
Okay.
But I intend to try to make a feat similar to Matt Mercer's feat, because obviously it's so popular. In order to make, basically drinking a potion as, or the equivalent of, a bonus action instead of a full action.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah. And then Titans. Titans are individuals that are, they would claim to be just as human as a Terran would be. If anything, more, they idealized human. Because their method of surviving the Decay-bot plague was to, instead of taking on new nanobots to fight it off, they just clone themselves a new body and then put their brain inside that body.
Okay.
And since that process had been done so frequently, they were able to basically make the idealized form of whatever their body was. So they have +2 charisma and +1 something else. They actually age at twice the rate as a normal human does, because again their bodies are generated so quickly. They're usually very lawful, since the society that maintains their industry and industry maintains their way of life. And they also tend to be neutral or evil depending on their view on the other races. 5 to 6 feet tall, medium size. Bites walking speed 30 feet. Titan cunning. They have advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, and they know English.
In all those years, they didn't know what new languages?
Good. I suppose with them doing extra business deals, it could be potential.
Yeah.
All right, one extra language. That's one. And this one, David loved the idea of this everything being called Titan. So Titan toughness. Hit point maximum increased by 1 every event consequential level. Every other level. Or every entirely level. Yeah. Titan resilience. You have resistance. They have advantage on saving throws to poison, resist poison damage. Titan endurance. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to roll a d12, add your constitution modifier to the number rolled, and reduce the damage by on the total. Once you use it, you can't use it again until a short long rest. Titan forgery. You can duplicate other people's handiwork writing or craft work. You have advantage on all checks made to produce forgeries or duplicates of existing objects. Titan face. You are careful not to show weakness in front of your allies for fear of losing status. If you miss with an attack roll or fail an ability check or saving throw, you can add a bonus to the roll equal to the number of allies you can see within 30 feet of you, maximum +5. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until a short or long rest. Titan bouncer. You're trained in intimidation. Titan charm. You're trained in persuasion. Titan tantrum. As an action, on your turn, you can loudly rant to distract nearby foes. Until the end of your next turn, your allies gain advantage on attack rolls against your enemies within 10 feet of you that can see you. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until a short or long rest. Again, it's a kobold ability. They call it something else there.
Berserker.
There's more like, please don't hurt me, begging.
Yeah.
Titan tenacity. Once you're reduced to 0 hit points, you aren't killed outright. You succeed. You must succeed 5. You must succeed 5 times to stabilize, or 5 times to die. Do you think increasing both by 5 is sufficient, or just increasing the, leaving the successions at 3 and just increasing the fails to 5?
That might be more practical.
Otherwise, you're just giving yourself more and more chances.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll remove that.
Yeah, taking more successes is actually a detriment.
Yeah, exactly. So 3 times to stabilize, or 5 times to die.
Plus, you don't have little extra circles for your failures, and you have to add extra circles underneath.
Yes. That'll come into play when I'm making
course.
specialized character sheets.
I know it's a thing that obviously if you roll a 1, you get two failures. If you roll a 20, you get 2 successes. But if you roll a 20, you get 2 successes, and that brings you back. Shouldn't they give you like 1 hit point? Like, not just not dying.
That's kind of a homebrew thing, but yeah. I mean, we could make it the orc trait or half orc trait, where if you're not outright killed right out, you can once per long rest regain to 1 hit point.
So you could give him a cantrip and call it Titan Fall.
What would Titan Fall do?
Cantrip.
Sure. Tiny Titans.
Oh, that sounds like Tiny Toons.
I know. They're 3 to 4 feet tall. You can also attempt to hide behind, even when obscured only by a creature that is one size larger than you. You also have advantage on charisma deception checks to convince people that you are actually a young child.
Right.
Please, sir, don't hurt me. I am but a young boy.
Or you're in a 3-piece suit. I'm a very fancy young boy.
Very well to do, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Next.
it sounded. Oh, those are all the races.
That's it, huh? Okay.
David was actually suggesting, hey, is there any other race you could add? But you had made the point of, you know what, let's just leave it at 6 and just work from there, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody will run into another race from some game. What the heck is that? Quick,
So
make a name.
it sounded like you were interested in botanics, Dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
What are you interested in?
Are you gonna play the smart character?
I can.
Okay, I'm gonna be the brute. I just hit things. I was kind of worried. I was like, should I be the smart one or should I be the dumb one that hits things? I'm gonna be the dumb one that hits things.
I initially thought White, but I think I'm going to go with Titan, just because it reminds me of the Benedict Blade. Yeah!
I'm not the only one, yes.
From Dune. So,
Okay.
roll the stats, I'm assuming.
I did.
Yeah.
Alright. Did you roll your
Did
stats?
you roll stats?
You gotta roll your
No,
stats. I
stats.
had you to 46. You gotta roll your
Oh, is that what
stats.
they're for?
Yes, right to the side.
Okay, isn't that cute? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you just take the higher 3 and add those together.
Uh-huh.
Not a good roll. Oh well.
So you wrote down 9 for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can add.
Okay, good. Oh my!
Wow.
Oh my!
Some people get
That's
lucky.
3 6s right there. Well,
Can
Dad,
I
keep
roll
rolling, Dad.
again?
Keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Yeah,
Oh.
6 times.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 times. Oh, I didn't know
All the
that.
stats. Yes.
Okay.
There you go. That's
That's a little better. Let me see here. Okay.
All right. Now, just brief overview of the classes you got. Just so we know the stats and things like that. For,
6 times. Okay.
Oh bother! I forgot to put on the white background for that one. Oh,
Bother indeed. You waste a lot of ink that way.
I know. I'm sorry. I quickly tried to scrape that one together.
Great, great.
Yes. Brawler class is essentially a merging, a very core merging probably, of the barbarian and the monk. So that by 3rd level you decide which brawler you are, whether it's the calm path or the chaotic path.
And so 6 times?
Yeah.
Okay, my best is 16 there, I guess. Okay, so how do you divide these up? Whatever way you want.
helps to know the class first.
Yeah, so 0 the classes first.
Okay.
So yeah, with brawler, their unarmored defense would be dexterity and constitution.
I feel like David just wants you to hand that to him.
For the brawler?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Especially for going down the chaotic path. The joined class is where you're joined with a medium-sized blob of nanobots.
Oh.
Your amorphous companion. I put this at 97%, and it's still chopped off a little bit of the text. Essentially, framed as being like a warlock, it has. You have some ideas you can go cast or perform. Your nanobot companion can form as an armor, an animal, or a blade in your hand. Depending on what type of nanobot it is, it would look differently each time. And let's see, for it's your charisma modifier for the joined. And then for the influencer, obviously it would be also the charisma modifier.
I was definitely interested in the influencers. That looked like fun.
Basically a nerfing of Bard.
So is there something before Brawler?
Huh?
You said Brawler, Joined, and
Influencer.
Influencers. All three, yeah.
So far, yes. The unique ones, yes.
Darn brawler.
Okay.
I hit things.
Yes.
Okay, I guess I'll be Joined. So it'll be like class then?
Yes. And that. You.
Oh my gosh! It's huge!
I'm going there. So, there's also backgrounds I have. Most of them would be fairly self-explanatory with the titles. There's the academic, blue blood, the con artist, the craftsman, a devoted, farmer, fisherman, performer, prepper, security, and soldier.
I want to be a hunter. Be like a farmer.
Farmer.
All right.
Farmer. You get skill proficiency in either nature, proficiency in nature, and either animal handling, medicine, or survival.
Okay. I'll do medicine.
Okay. You also get one crafter's tool set and proficiency in, and land vehicles. Equipment-wise, Dad, you would get that crafter's tool set equipment as you chose.
Yeah.
That you're proficient in. Trowel, a shovel, and either a pouch of seed if you're a standard ritter farmer, or a pet animal from your farm. And a farmer specialities include biofuel, dairy, fish, food crops, medicinal crops, orchard, poultry. That's it. Or rancher.
Standard Earth languages or any new languages or
Aside from being able to speak the beasts or plants or machines, all presently used languages.
okay.
So English, German, Spanish.
Latin.
That's what I
Dead
picked.
language, yeah.
Oh, okay. I pick Latin too.
You both pick Latin? Maybe we're showing you
That's
Pig Latin.
It's a science fiction language. Science fiction. It's a scientific language. Plants are named in Latin. Animals are named in Latin.
It's the language of history.
History, yeah.
How much of our history is written in Latin?
Yeah.
How much of it is written in Greek and Hebrew?
But Latin is the root for a lot of things.
Well, not Greek and Hebrew.
Well, maybe not.
A lot of that was brought into Latin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all Greek to me.
Dad, you also get as a feature
Yeah.
austere accommodations. You're welcomed with long. You're acquainted with long days of hard work to make ends meet. Common folks recognize and respect your work ethic and will provide you aid, sometimes in trade, if you're helping on their farm.
Okay. So that means I can go anywhere and probably have a place to sleep.
You can offer yourself as a farm hand,
Okay.
and you actually know what you're talking about. So. David, what background sounds appealing to you?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
Academic, blue blood, con artist, craftsman, devoted, farmer, fisherman, performer, prepper, security, soldier.
Security.
Okay, I knew it was going to be either security or soldier. Very good. You are proficient in insight and either intimidation or persuasion. You get one extra language and land vehicles. Proficiency. Oh yeah, Dad. Money wise, you got $10.
Oh boy.
I'll choose Spanish.
Okay.
Take Latin. No one will understand what we're saying.
All three of you. Equipment wise, David, you have handcuffs, a pair of walkie-talkies with a range of 20 miles. Apparently, really good walkie-talkies can have that range. I looked it up when I typed this in.
Yeah.
It's bizarre the types of things I'm willing to do research on,
Yeah.
and then other things are like, I don't know what I'm doing. Your insignia of your rank and uniform. You have a coin purse with $10. You also have the. Oh, wait, you didn't type that. You have a feature of lookout. You're well acquainted with law enforcement procedures. You can easily recognize fellow security in common clothes, as well as suspicious individuals that may be up to no good.
Now the proficiencies I get with a join, but then again it's only 2, but I add what kind of proficiency skills with joins? You get pick 2 skills for join, but I also have skills of being botanic.
And I gave you the.
Yeah.
I gave you the botanic paper.
Right. Let's see what's these skills.
No skill.
What would it be?
No.
Yes.
I gave Titan some
Yeah.
some options to be proficient in certain skills.
I mean, you name things that are skilled like animal handling and nature check.
For your class, yes.
Yeah.
So you have the options of which one to take on that. But not on race, though.
Right.
Oh, David, you also get $10. Did I mention that already?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What is academic?
Academic. You get either history or culture,
Okay.
and either technology, nature, or medicine.
History or culture,
Yep.
and then technology,
Nature or medicine. Yep.
Okay.
2 extra languages.
All right. Okay.
And equipment-wise, you have a 6-pack of various colored ballpoint pens, a notebook, an e-reader of relevant textbooks of your proficient subjects, common clothes, fanny pack, and $10. The specialities include a chemist, botanist, discredited academic, librarian, researcher, historian, philosopher, or professor.
Go through the equipment list one more time.
Sure.
Common clothes,
A common clothes fanny pack, $10.
fanny pack. Why a fanny pack?
Could be a backpack. It's a fanny pack of holding.
All right. So the categories for what?
Chemist, botanist, discredited academic, librarian, researcher, historian, philosopher, professor.
A librarian and a researcher. What would you consider those e-books to be? Now, librarian would have books on books.
So the researcher would have different methodologies on how to perform research.
And the professor?
They probably just have their own lecture notes.
I will go with historian.
Since you got Latin, so might as well, yes. Your feature is bookworm. If you are unable to recall a piece of history or scientific fact, you know where you might find that information. So you know where the libraries are, you know where the smart people are.
Now, is the bark skin thing always on, or is it something you have to call up?
It would always be on,
Okay.
but it would not be in conjunction with any other form
Right.
of AC changing.
And the this tree truncated where you can cause a disadvantage. This is within 5 feet. It doesn't. I mean, you have to be right next to the person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't
Basically,
miss
you're
it.
putting your arm in the way pretty much,
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah. But if you had vine limbs, you could be 10 feet.
With the vine limbs, it specifically said that when you're making an attack.
Ah. Oh, well.
I have no armor proficiencies. This guy's dead. AC. What?
Oh, they do have the charismatic armor. It's on the next page.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Okay. But I guess my question was, the tree truncated, can that be after you see the attack happen?
It would be used as a reaction.
Reaction
to the
during
attack.
an attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would be taken up in action.
Now this bothered me. 2 musical instruments of your choice and 1 artisan tool of your choice. We're trying to get it away from music, but you have to have music.
I mean, I suppose it's more of you're the skill monkey, so to speak.
I'll put it, but just a thought.
Yeah. while we continue to read through those, I'll just continue talking on the live stream of what the monster manual includes. We have the aerogel cube, with the idea that nanobots were used to basically put aerogel into the walls of buildings to improve as working as insulation. And sometimes, well, after the plague occurred, nobody was there to keep these nanobots in check. And so the aerogel just expanded and broke through the walls, and now goes through each of the hallways of these office buildings, basically trying to search for heat in order to reduce the heat. Angels. Huh?
If I have Long Strider, which makes my base speed 40 feet, and at second level I get unarmored movement, gives me another 10 feet from the class, is a minimum of 50 feet.
That's what it says. It's stacking. Run away!
No, I wouldn't
run
run
towards.
away. I
Run
run
towards.
towards.
Okay, yeah.
Slash, hack, and slash.
Yeah, of course. Angels are individuals who had, are essentially like the Blights, in that they still have the K-bots inside them, but they not only are able to take on the physical appearance of the people who had died, but through the assistance of the Gods Network, also take on the memories of them. And so they basically act as advisors for cities, or sometimes cities, more likely villages or towns, that find themselves in need and are willing to take the help of such a creature. Automaton.
So where did you get these numbers, Dave? Where did you get the numbers?
Oh, well, you rolled them.
I rolled them.
You rolled 6 times,
Yeah.
and then you put them where you want them,
Oh. Okay.
and then you get the modifier.
Okay. All right. so
Well,
I
why did
did.
you erase them all?
I was thinking different. Okay.
No.
He was rolling for fun.
Yeah, that's what was fun. Uh huh.
Do you remember the numbers?
Yeah, I do. I remember.
Okay. Automatons are essentially just your standard robot drones of human-sized, medium-sized constructs. They were programmed to do automated menial tasks, maintenance work around factories and power plants. They're sometimes equipped with a basic tool, and they don't really have much in the way of artificial intelligence aside from obstacle avoidance, getting from point A to point B, and using their tool. But I suppose if somebody were to, I don't know, some way hack into one of these automatons, get into their software, they could then get a map, a layout of the facility that they're in for free. At the very least, what the automaton's programmed to know about. Barkies are corgis, because David loves corgis, that have been infected with the ecobots, and so instead of having fur that sheds a lot, they just have a very soft, flexible bark, and leaves that grow on them. And otherwise, it has not affected their personality or demeanor, and they are adorable. Because corgis are adorable, right, David?
Yeah.
Brown pudding. Biobots flush down the toilet. They collect it.
You didn't. Yes.
You can put 2 and 2 together. There's large size and tiny size. Tiny size doesn't do any damage, but it'll go for you.
It's really porn in there.
Yes, it could be. Goblins, G-O-B-B-L-E-N, and gremlins. Goblins are people who decided to take ecobots and biobots at the same time. It didn't work out too well. And so the ecobots made them very chaotic, the biobots gave them a great hunger. And so they're small size, chaotic evil, and they each have their own type of taste they want to satiate.
Question. When do I get charismatic armor? Because it's not on here.
That's what
It's not on here.
on that list.
So how do you calculate this number up here?
Oh, well, 10 and 11 is
Must be at
0.
level 1
Uh-huh.
because
12 and 13 is 1.
the
Okay.
Jack of all trades is
14,
at level
15 is
2,
2.
so
Okay.
Okay. You want me to just write it here so you see
16
it?
and 17 is 3.
Okay.
18, 19 is 4. And less is a negative.
Uh-huh.
So your charisma every -1, yeah.
Okay.
and goblins also have pack,
So it would be,
pack tactics and a bite and a knife.
14 is 2.
well, 14 is good, okay.
Gremlins, on the other hand, were they used
Oh.
Ecobots and Megabots at the same time. They're also small size, neutral evil, and they corrode metal. Any non-nanobot metals. And they also have claws and needles. They tend to just, as the classic Gremlin does, take apart mechanical and electronic parts. Then we have the G.O.D.S. We got Black Goo, which is the decay bots. Just formed together into a gross mass. And their basic ability is to reanimate a corpse of some sort. Grey Goo are mechabots that have come to a oozy mass. They can take the shape of mechanical shape, so of a tool like a wrench, hammer, thermos, sack of coins, knife, spray can, cell phone. They can simulate organic-based materials like paper or leather, but when you touch them, it actually feels like the plastic and metal that's actually made out of. Green Goo are the botanic, or the ecobots, and so they are able to take the shape of plants and fungi. Red Goo, biobots that take on the shape of a tiny beast, 1 to 8 pounds, that can be in the wild, including bat, cat, crab, dog, frog, hawk, lizard, octopus, owl, snake, fish, rat, raven, seahorse, spider, weasel. They use all the qualities, as in the actions, movements, and senses of the beast's form that they take. Otherwise, they keep all their natural stats. There's a mimic, because, so many RPGs have to have a mimic, whether they're fantasy or not. And so mimics typically take the form of electronics. These are megabots and manufacturing electronics in factories became a very efficient means of recycling old materials and still add great detail to the final products. Most products manufactured this way wouldn't have the megabots remaining in them, since their purpose was to build it, not to maintain it. However, some customers were able to upgrade their versions, which would include megabots. They would subsequently get any future hardware updates as a fraction of the cost, as their machine would update itself. Unattended, though, or sometimes purposely modified, these megabots would have corrupted software that would gain semi-consciousness, modifying their hardware that they inhibited to become monsters that would attack their users, as you were wont to do.
This is a really weird spell, this amicable, but I like it.
It's basically friendship.
But it's not, because
Yeah.
you have to make a savings throw,
Yeah.
and it doesn't bother them.
Yeah. It's a rephrasing of friendship, yeah. Moaning Mouther, essentially a group of people were huddled together with the infected with decay bots, and the decay bots essentially, what happened was that you were infected after it was updated to scan your brain and your body, your DNA. It would basically dissolve you to your basic components. They were originally biobots, though, that were corrupted, and they were supposed to heal your body. So, Sometimes, when a group of people were massed together and they were all infected, they would start dissolving into one mass, and then sometimes the biobots, the decay bots, would revert back to their original programming of repairing, and so they would become one big mass of mouths and eyes in torturous pain, always hungry for more. If a person is consumed by it, forms a new set of eyes and jaws. It is both pleased by the acquisition of more flesh, but angry that it now has another mouth to feed. Basically, gibbering mouther. Owl experiments, because there's the owl bear, and it's part of the SRD, so dagnabbit, I'm taking that. And the owl fent, which we're still not really sure whether or not we can properly take, because I've only seen one drawing of it, and so I just, took that drawing. Obviously, we're going to make somebody else make the artwork if we keep that as being an animal. But we just took the features of an elephant and added, some owl qualities to it too. Rat experiments. There's the rat wolf, which is a medium-sized rat, essentially, or a rat of unusual size, you might say. And Robo-Rat, a small monstrosity, chaotic evil, that's been cybernetically enhanced with mechabots. Rustbug, which I think is an interesting modification of the Rust monster, because it's a tiny beast, hybrid. Rust bugs were originally rhinoceros beetles that were infected with mechabots. These mechabots doubled their size.
How do you calculate your hit points?
Your class
Yeah.
is a hit dice, and you add your Constitution modifier.
Okay, so
So your class is hit die.
it would be a D8.
D8, yeah, plus your Constitution modifier. It's 2. So, yep.
The mechabots doubled their size, which could be maintained by adding metallic alloys to their exoskeleton to account for the greater mass and volume. They develop antennae to detect more metal substances that they could consume. They aren't aggressive, but they are persistent. They do have a persistent appetite. They are a menace to anyone who depends on metal, but they can be kept as pets by those who do not depend on metal. So yeah, just like the standard rust monster, they can smell out ferrous metals within 30 feet. They rust metal. They do still the same permanent 1 damage to damage rolls on weapons, and -1 to the penalty of the AC of armor. If AC of armor reduces to 10 or shield reduces to 0, or a weapon reduces to -5 on its damage, by -5, that is destroyed. But they are tiny, so they have 4 hit points. They also have flying speed, so they're even more of a dangerous thing.
So are improvisations like cantrips?
Yes. There's also a skeleton, which was combined with decay bots and mechabots. A skeleton of those who had died, but not from the plague, but by other means, can be reanimated, functioning little more than a drone with human bones as the frame, basic motors and sensors to allow it to function as an imposing guard or as a first-line soldier. We have werewolves. Though they are not immune to any type of damage, because being immune to damage just seems too much. So at least they're resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage not made by nanobot weapons. Shape changer. They have advantage on perception checks for hearing and smelling. You have a humanoid, hybrid, and wolf forms, where they have bite, claw, and spear. Child rating 3. And so basically they're individuals that they were accidentally infected with sporadic biobots. They didn't ask for it per se, and so instead of just changing them like into a brute, it goes further than that. The last page I got here is just zombies. Again, they're most megabots would simply dissolve a human body and then spread to the next host. Sometimes they would malfunction partway through the process, reverting their original programming to heal the body. This change would create what essentially is a flesh-hungry zombie, lumbering around looking for more to consume to repair itself. Though some progress is made, it never returns to a sentient human form. And zombie dogs. Just the human zombies, just like human zombies, the zombie dogs are infected with malfunctioning decay bots, which constantly switch between repairing the form and tearing it apart again. This gives them the same hunger for flesh to maintain its meager existence.
Okay, character done, let's play.
Well, now it's 7:30.
Oh.
You stretched this out, didn't you?
I mean, I've read
I had
every
to make
page.
this as long as possible so you wouldn't actually have to come up with a campaign.
All right. What about weapons and stuff? Do we have any?
I hadn't created those pages yet of the equipment. But what kind of an
My
adventure?
weapons are here.
What kind of an adventure would we be seeking? Which could be another. You said this should be a session 0. That's another feature of a session 0 is to figure out what kind of game we're going to play.
Because you're running.
I know.
Well, something that goes through and tests as many things as possible.
Well, we could explore land. Explore and try to make new friends. Maybe say we were separated from our families, so we're trying to get back to where they were. Some kind of scenario like that.
I just hit things. Smash.
What's your name?
Beast.
Beast?
Beast.
Well, on the nose there. Not like Beast from X-Men, though.
No.
No, you're not blue.
No.
It's not very smart.
No.
There's that too, yeah. Well, that's the funny thing, you know, about Beast is like, even before he gained his mutant powers, he was already smart.
Yeah.
It was already a feature he had.
Mm-hmm.
He just gained strength and dexterity on top of that too, but
Right.
and lots of blue fur.
The only reason he was smart is because he started out smart.
Exactly, yeah.
But Beast versus Smart Hulk.
Professor Hulk.
Professor Hulk, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they ended up making the Hulk indestructible. I mean, he was beat to a pulp, but there was no pulp to beat to. He just came back full strength. It was ridiculous.
What's my criticism? You know, I forget who it was that said it. I want to say it was Stan Lee that said,
Yeah.
you know, with all these comic book fans ask who would win in a fight, this person or this person.
Yeah.
You know, his response is, well, who's writing the story?
Yeah.
Because it entirely depends on which version of that character is that's fighting against each other. You know, like how many times has the Flash, you know, run
Gone
infinity?
rogue.
You know,
Yeah.
or you know, Superman has been able to lift an infinite amount of mass,
Yeah.
or whatever the scenario is.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, sure things that they are able to do.
Yeah, they gotten pretty ridiculous in a lot of these characters.
One thing I've just been having the notion of is set it in Kettering, in fact even set it in this house, and the notion that like this neighborhood, since the population dropped so much, that like every household decided, or it's kind of decided everybody who comes into town, that you're gonna, you know, try and make something out of yourselves here, that you have two houses, one they're next door to each other, and one is the house you properly live in, and the other house is essentially the one that you work in. It's your factory, or it's your farm, or whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Uh-huh.
So that way, because we had a friend who tried to make an eBay business, and so he
Yeah.
bought this whole bunch of stuff from a warehouse, and the only other place he had to put it in was because his garage was already full of stuff too. So he put it in his
Yeah.
Yeah.
living room. Yeah. So like my house is becoming a warehouse.
Yeah.
I can't have people over. There's loads of boxes. This isn't working.
Well, he
And
didn't
lots of
plan
other.
ahead very well.
There was a lot of issues there. Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
one of many things that wasn't kept
I
in
mean,
mind.
a store and lock isn't too expensive. It's not the greatest environment to store things, but
Yeah.
it does work, and it's reasonably secure.
There was some short-sightedness in it. In any case, so the idea that you're trying to become a farmer and you use your whole backyard like our neighbors. I don't know what they're growing over there, but they basically used up
Yeah.
3/4 of their yard to grow something.
Right.
Not illicit. It's a
Well-
work plan. I don't know.
What percentage of the population got wiped out?
9/10.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Who would live in a smaller neighborhood if you could just walk over to Oakwood and get yourself a larger house? Or you can
Yeah.
go get a warehouse.
It also depends on who already owns/controls that property.
Right, but you
Yeah.
can't. 1 in 10 houses is occupied. So which ones are people going to go to? They're going to go to the ones that have the food.
Yeah. But also, basically, the U.S. Companies try to encourage people
it's also
from
like
others.
50 years since it's happened, so there's been a generation.
There's some,
So.
Yeah.
some population boost. Yeah, baby boomers, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, yeah, the governments, not the governments, but the corporations that try to encourage the populations to reaccumulate, specifically in the U.S. So basically, we open borders. Everybody's welcome to come in because we need workers over here. Obviously, not everybody would come.
Yeah.
People are citizens of their land; they want to stay there, sure. But we're supposed to be the land of opportunity. Well, here's some opportunity for you right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
if their people were dying off too, they would have plenty of opportunity in their own land because.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they're already a third world country.
Well, no, they still.
Third world would have a better chance.
Yeah.
Less dense population for the virus to spread, and they're already farmers.
Well, I like this action here. Try hitting them. Now it says its duration is 1 minute. That'd be pretty much a round or two. 10 rounds.
10 rounds, yeah.
And so that means I could use it once, and it would still say, try hitting now. I point to one person.
It would only last up to the point that they finally hit them.
Until they finally hit them.
Yes.
But I could use it as an action on the next turn too. That'd be nice if it was a bonus, but anyway. But no, it's an improvisation.
Yeah.
But it's pretty
cantrip, yeah.
pretty powerful because you're giving people advantage on their next attack.
To somebody else, yes.
Yeah, somebody else.
Basically, it's a rephrasing of True Strike, which
Yeah.
so many people don't like because,
Yeah.
well, why would I give myself advantage on my next turn when I could just attack now and then attack on my next turn?
Yeah.
If I hit both times, I'm doing more damage.
Yeah. Yeah. But if somebody's hard to hit,
Yes,
yeah.
but then even then, you'd want to be able to use both of your actions
Right,
to attack
right.
both times. This way, instead, it's not just giving you advantage on something
Give
else.
someone else.
It's you telling somebody else, "Hey, you know what? I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw a weak point
But
there."
it sounds like that you would give advantage to whoever is attacking that person, anybody who's attacking that person, until they got hit.
I think I phrased it as being, you tell one of your allies.
One ally, yeah, an ally.
Yeah.
Basically, if your turn order, someone's about to go next and they're going
Right.
to hit them. Try that.
Yeah.
And then it comes their turn and they get advantage.
Right.
Yeah. So it makes it more.
So if they still don't
Functional.
manage to, if they still manage
Yeah.
to hit them, it's still like.
Huh?
If they still miss, it's still in effect until they finally hit.
Concentration for a minute, so I suppose
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Even with advantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does it say? On their next attack?
Yeah, on their next attack.
Not only
It's
do one
okay to
attack.
do one attack.
Well, but it says a duration of a minute. What's the point of duration of a minute? If it's-
Their attack could be anywhere in the next minute.
If they're running around,
yeah, okay.
Like, I gave you that opportunity, and you did not even try to hit them. You had a minute.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, in theory, then they could, if they didn't take the opportunity the first time around, then have someone else. You hit them. Then the next time, they get, two people could have advantage on them.
concentration, you only do one at a time.
What? Doesn't say concentration.
I think you said concentration for 1 minute.
No, duration.
Oh, duration 1 minute.
Yeah.
Oh, not concentration? Oh, well, in
Yeah.
that case.
It says but this wouldn't need concentration because you're telling someone else information.
Okay, yeah.
Once they have the information, you're probably give it to someone else too. Yeah. So yeah, there's no concentration involved in that. Very interesting. Okay, I like these cantrips. Improvisation. Very pretty.
Are you gonna add Titanfall?
That was
That was a joke.
yeah.
Well, you have all so many other jokes in here too.
That is true. But what did you think of the ideas that the influencer
Oh,
has?
I like them.
The phrase, the titles for them.
I'll tell you the ones I chose.
Okay.
So, amicable. I think it's interesting. I'm wanting to try it. Vicious mockery because I have to. Brutal comeback. I think that's a little overpowered, and I want to prove it.
Essentially, it's hellish rebuke, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, command because command. Uplifting.
Demonstrate.
Yep. Uplifting word. And heroism. So, all crazy stuff. I want to have him do heroism with inspiration and just see what happens.
What is this? You give heroism to someone else?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And everything I chose involved words.
They're all verbal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not just verbal, but they are all strict words, not singing or anything like that.
Okay, yeah.
Which the Arcane Focus sheet on here, again, you went back to music. I think I'm the one
Now,
that texted.
if I use this vine limb, and it's mainly for melee attacks, but if I were using my blue raspberries, could I not, and someone was more than a square away from me, could I not reach them and have them hand them a raspberry
Ooh.
from a distance because the limb is working the same way?
Wait,
I need that,
is he playing the one that was originally going to be the cook?
the plan.
No, I
He
had
didn't
not
finish
created
that.
out the cook one yet.
He didn't finish that.
We're sort of going to slant them more to being more of a survivalist thing, as opposed to just being straight cook. So that
Well-
way it's
Now thinking about cook, and with that, I want him to make raspberry pie.
blue raspberry pie.
Yes.
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 What about Bebop, Rebop, Rebop Pop?
Well, essentially, the blue raspberry is just a healing potion.
It's good, Barry.
Yeah.
Good.
Can I be part of the Ketchup Advisory Board?
You may, but there'll be no ketchup. There'll be no ketchup in this game.
There must be ketchup in this game.
No, you have to be the chef, and the chef isn't done yet.
Beast only eats with ketchup.
Poor
Oh
beast.
my gosh.
It reminds him of blood.
So, you know, the abilities I chose, Tiny Titan, because I think it's going to be interesting. Titan Tantrum, which I'm not picturing that as so much crying and things, but berating them with facts.
Yeah.
And then Titan Face, because there's a lot of savings throws involved with this character. Even though advantage on 3 of the main savings throws he's going to be dealing with is going to be crazy.
All right. David, what's your name? What's the name of your character?
Oh, Jean-Alfred Delacour.
Jean.
Let's call him Al.
Jean Alfred Delacour.
Sean or Jean? Jean.
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 As in
So either you're French.
Hmm?
Jean.
But with no French accent.
Okay.
Yeah. So like Picard.
Kind of.
Okay.
And you'll love the language choices.
What language choices are there?
English, Latin, French, and Old English.
Oh.
Not to be confused with Middle English.
Ye Old English.
No, just
They're doing-
Old English. You're
Old
thinking Middle English when you
Oh.
say it. Sounds more like German than English.
Oh. We'll see how it goes then. Alright.
It'll never come up, trust me.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about Beowulf.
Ah.
Mhm.
Luigi, what did you choose?
I chose Longstrider and Nocturnal.
So somebody has dark vision, okay.
Yes. I figure the brawler features, I changed my numbers around so I would have higher constitution dexterity. Makes up for not having a tough body.
Okay.
Do you have an AC 17?
17.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And Papa?
Which one are you looking at?
What did you choose?
I chose vine limb, and blue raspberry.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to use both of them simultaneously to...
yeah.
He uses
I
the
could
blue
use-
raspberry at the start of the day.
Okay.
And he's
Yeah.
saying he wants to be able to use vine limb to give somebody.
Yeah, blue raspberry.
Oh,
If
blue
they're not
raspberry.
close to me, be able to give them rest.
Well, it still takes an action to feed it down their throat, you know.
Well, but still, they're not immediately adjacent.
The question is that the issue is that I clarified that the vine limb is specifically for doing a melee attack.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to say it's solely it could be used also as
Yeah.
just an action.
Right. I mean, if I'm like holding a weapon in my vine limb and can attack 2 squares away,
Why can't you just easily?
but yeah. Well, and also there's an attack here that's good up to 10 feet, and I could extend it to 15 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's even more useful. So yeah, I'm getting. a little
He's
more,
trying to recreate the.
poison spray.
Okay.
That could
No,
be good for 15 feet because that's a melee attack. That's it.
Melee attack?
Well, all right, I guess it's not. It says extend your hand toward a creature. If my limb can extend further, I should get to use it.
I see the phrasing. I understand.
Yeah,
I didn't say it's from the mouth. I said it's from the hand.
Uh-huh.
And you have stretchy hands.
yeah.
Talk with the hand.
This is why we play test.
This is why we play this. Yes.
Right. Well, hey,
We will break the game.
it's good. No, we won't break it. We'll make it better, and we'll make our. You should be able to use your abilities. One of my abilities is to extend my hand.
Will this cause a table
Yeah,
flip? It gets to the point where we're just like, yeah, we're gonna use this, 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 and you're.
Well, no.
No, I mean, it's my poor writing. That's all.
No, it's not poor writing. It's a matter of.
It's your imagination.
Yeah. I mean, right here it says range is 10 feet. I mean, if I was able to only go, to the next square with my hand, how is that going to go to another square beyond? It must obviously there's some range involved in that poison gas. So if I could extend my hand another square, the range should go still yet another square.
We need a mini that's wearing a suit.
We have several that are in the.
They're in the.
On the left side over there.
So anyway,
They're in here.
They said you need a shorter.
Here. Just
They're short irons.
I don't think we have any tiny.
so the only one that says concentration is the ventriloquist.
Okay.
Yeah, all the rest of them are just duration.
So I just figured.
Okay.
Virtually right on. Well,
Okay.
I'll just.
So you're a lawyer?
Historian.
Sorry, man.
Let's change out Tiny Titan to match the mini.
Don't
have
insult
something
a
else.
lawyer.
Well, there's this guy. He's fancy looking.
Not that
Fair enough.
Now, really, I've got this Babel translation,
Yes.
so I really don't really need to learn another language. I mean, I can
Well-
temporarily learn a language for an hour.
It's not a perfect translation. It's like
No.
a literal
Look at that
translation.
for
It's
Titan
like
tenacity.
Literal is better than nothing.
true,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But think of
And it also, and
English.
they understand any written language too.
you were touching it, yes,
Yeah. So there we go.
but it does not let you speak in that language though,
No.
or write in that language.
Ah. Okay. But either way, it's still very useful for understanding
In
something.
that case, I think it's a higher level idea that's tongues. I may have renamed
Yeah.
it. Essentially, it's spell tongues, where it actually lets
Yeah.
you speak in that language.
Yeah.
I think it's third level.
Oh, you got word? Babel speech. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Alright.
But I mean, this would be good for, particularly good for if someone is speaking in a language I didn't understand
Yeah.
to be able to at least. And the duration is an hour, and it depends on nanobots doing the translation, I guess. So it's not a concentration for me.
Yeah, it's your
My glob.
yes.
Okay, got rid of Tiny Titan for Titan tenacity to match the mini.
All right.
Titan tenacity.
What did the tenacity go?
2 extra death failures.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I'm rocking no con bonus, AC 16 if they can be charmed. If not, they have better chance of hitting me than if I wasn't using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a homebrew class I found that was I want to say it was noble. Just outright its own class, and so basically you play as a princess or a prince, and with the different subclasses of it being like a warrior princess or a fairy tale princess or something like that, and that was essentially a slight modification of what their charismatic armor was.
See, I think that's going to be a little too crippling when you look at the swashbuckler and the barbarian. They get larger bonuses and it doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
So any undead or basic thing that can't
Construct.
be charmed,
Yeah.
I'm now at every attack on me's advantage.
Yeah. Do you think removing that part of it would be?
Just charisma bonus takes
Yeah.
it to even
Yeah.
with what's other classes. The advantage makes it nasty.
True.
Because go through there and how many can't be charmed.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
That sounds like great.
Oh.
All the oozes. Like that's
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's
We have a lizard guy, but
4, 5, 6, 7.
He's got an extended tail.
me.
Yeah.
I'm beast. I'm ugly and mutated into farms and I can't fight.
But I'm not actually small, though. I'm medium.
Should be
So I
medium.
guess it'd be medium.
Yeah, you didn't pick tiny.
Shrubbery.
Perfect. You didn't pick
Shrubbery,
shrubbery.
yeah.
So what are you choosing instead of tiny?
the Titan tenacity, the extra death savings for this.
Ah, yes.
Because I'm gonna die easy.
Mm.
I have no con bonus.
Ah,
I have +1 dex bonus.
yeah.
Only 7.
7 out of.
Yeah, at least 20 here.
So over a third.
About 30, yeah.
I mean, we'll try it.
You might
They
know
have to.
Even my undead, though, aren't immune to being charmed, though. Just being immune to poison.
We'll see how it goes, and if it gets destroyed, maybe remove that.
There was
Yeah.
an interesting chart I saw on a forum about like all of the different resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities in the entire monster manual, and saying that the most vulnerable was actually cold. exactly what it says. But obviously the one that like 96% of them, like, almost everybody resisted poison. So
Yeah.
like, don't pick poison.
Poison
Yeah.
and fire are the two
Yeah,
worst.
two worst,
Well, the fact that it wasn't just a matter of don't pick fire, but it was like they're immune to fire, not just resistant
Right.
to fire. Like aerogel cube, it's immune to fire. This whole deal is that it absorbs heat.
Now these joined invocations, according to this, it gives me darkness vision.
You get to choose 2 of those.
Oh, I get to choose 2 of these. Okay. So where do you put those?
Class
You
features.
don't get those until
Yeah.
a later level.
Yeah, you don't get those
Oh,
yet.
really?
Just like there's things over here that I could.
Doing
This
class
basically
level.
combines brawler,
Barbarian
barbarian
and
and
monk.
monk. Yeah.
Specifically, the frenzied monk, frenzied brawler of a barbarian,
Oh.
and the open hand monk.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So, what are we wanting to see then,
Well,
per se?
definitely want to get up to a decent level.
Yeah.
I mean, at least 4th or 5th. Even if you have to do, let's just jump.
Make it a proper either milestone or XP and see.
Yeah, but we don't have to go through and play every encounter to see how they play out. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, testing it with the new monsters and what they do.
I can tell you I want to try this education genre. And I'm really wondering if Jack of all trades is going to be useful with this. We're all students. Now, is this supposed to be... This wording is a little weird. So you may want to consider this because it'll cause confusion. When you join the education genre at 3rd level, you gain proficiency in 3 skills, artisan tools, game sets, or languages of your choice. So is it 3 of each, 3 of one?
You get 3 choices, and you have any of those to choose from.
You might want to reword it into that.
Yeah.
That's going to make people question which is...
You get three of everything. It's amazing.
Yeah!
Make a note. Remind yourself.
You know what's even greater? I got a multi-pen with red.
But you're not supposed to grade in red. It ruins their self-assurance.
It should. They have children. They shouldn't have self-assurance. Ruin it.
Yeah, I make pages bleed when I help out with reading.
Mark it up like crazy. Make sure he knows everything he needs to change.
I love you, David.
It only makes it better.
Oh, yes, yes. This is emphasis on tearing me apart.
Hey, that's not true.
I do like that you can teach it to others.
Yes.
That's useful.
I mean, it takes time and money, but...
So no one in the chat, no one's...
A couple times it got up to 2 people viewing. I might have seen 3, but it wasn't for long. I'm sure the only one who's in there presently right now is me. Everybody else is a bot.
Yep.
For some reason.
Yep.
Yes.
It happens.
But I suppose the idealized version would be to somehow use, I think it was the Bionic that had an ability where they could learn a new language or proficiency at half cost and half the
Yeah.
time,
Mhm.
and then also including that with an influencer then.
To
So
teach it
that
out?
to teach exactly, yeah. If you really want to double down on the, I want to learn everything. I'm sure I make sure everybody else in my company knows everything as well.
So how long ago? Like, was 50 years ago?
Yes.
Okay.
And the governments failed, so the corporations took control. And it's featured in Dayton. This is where we are. It's big enough.
Just
Okay.
remember, most wood houses in about 30 years would be completely uninhabitable.
Yeah. Dad, how old is this house?
This is old land.
Oh no. No wonder the ceiling is crumbling above us. I mean, look how much duct tape I have on that wall, Dad.
Oh, that. Well, that's
To hold in the
just needs
your
to be
patchwork there, right?
Just needs to be properly patched.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the plus side though, I feel the air conditioning a bit more. It's not so burning up here.
Oh yeah?
Oh, good.
A little bit, yeah.
The hot seat not so hot for you?
We didn't start it
Guess you're
that
not
much
running the game
earlier.
Yeah, probably that.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, leave that here, and you have fun seeing what you got to come up with against these.
Yes, yes.
Fix the corrections and stuff and come up with the...
No reason to fix those yet.
But also, I still need to add on some more features for Dad's class,
Yeah.
because I still don't have the, what extra benefits do you get from having each of the types of nanobots? So, like,
Yeah.
again, sword based on Warlock, where if you, with Fae,
Yeah.
Fiend, or Great Old One, they gave you extra features because you went with them.
Well,
extra
the
features do you
join
get
was
with?
basically you're getting.
Why don't you have
all kinds
fun
of
and make it
features.
corporations? Which corporation make a
Yeah.
nanobot?
Well, the corporations, I don't know. You lose that many
That was kind of a
people.
suggestion today I pointed out.
Yeah.
And then you could come up with various things and play to that.
Hmm. I suppose that would be the case, yeah.
Obviously make up names that are not actual corporations or something in another game.
Yeah. So we can't have Apple,
No.
Google.
No. You can't have she was a corporation, or even though Shadowrun, in at least the 5th edition book, did mention a lot of Apple, Google corporations, like you could just have them in your game. But they're not official ones like they are like Renzaku or whatever the other.
Yeah. Fortunately, I think there are websites for that.
But we still have more of a worldwide influence as well, considering you're trying to invite a lot of maybe Chinese or Japanese, especially if it's tech-based. Someone out there probably made it.
But some German cars.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Turn it on American cars.
Oh, come on. Jeep. Ford.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Distance balance. Everything balanced.
Now this expeditious retreat.
Yeah.
It looks like it's something that I could use to
Run away!
get out of it, run away,
Yeah.
without having the reaction of someone else attacking me.
Yeah. If it says that, yeah.
That basically, it doesn't word it that way, but it sounds like it that way. It says, allows you to move at an incredible pace.
Right, it just increases your move speed.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can move fast, you could avoid
It does not.
reaction attack.
It's not actually saying though
No, it
that you
doesn't.
avoid opportunity attacks.
Right, it wasn't. Essentially, they called it dash action.
Yes.
But I can
Well,
keep-
normally it takes a full action in order to make a dash.
But this is a bonus,
Yeah, it makes it a bonus. You're basically
so I could
using
strike and run.
You're using an action to give, and you'd still have a bonus action to dash, but basically you'd have to use that in order to make that dash a bonus action.
But this is not. This is labeled as a bonus action.
That's all it takes to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to declare it ahead of time.
You declare that's what you're using as your bonus action is
Yeah.
making this retreat.
Yeah.
Right.
Run, running away!
Would that give you 2 bonus actions?
Well, it's 15.
What is it? Is it have a
It
duration?
says casting time is a bonus
10
action.
minutes.
Duration up to
Okay.
10 minutes. Okay.
So that just means that for that, starting that round, you're using it as a bonus action
Yeah.
to dash.
And then you can dash.
And you continue for as long as you keep concentration for the next 10 minutes. I copied and pasted it from the SRD, so
Uh-huh. Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
we'll try using and see how it works.
so call it.
it's now 8 o'clock, so
It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Until next. Yeah, you said. You're.
until next time, happy gaming. Yeah, we're going to meet up again this Monday. And
Play.
What?
Play Children of the Gods, right?
We're going to play Children of the Gods. Oh
Monday.
my goodness, I just said it. So, we're going to do that. And this Thursday, we're not going to get having here somewhere else for that. Last of the week, last Saturday of the month, we're going to be playing another game with the Springfield group. It's up in the air whether or not it'll be here or at another person's house. If it's another person's house, obviously we won't be on stream. Until next time, happy gaming!